Okay, hello Minecrafters and Infitechers. Another short video here. Let's do hand tools. Hand tools. I don't even think I've built the gamut of these things, but I'll grab what I have. We'll kind of give a overview of what you can do with these guys. If you're early in the game, you are beating and stabbing at things with picks and hammers, and it's a real drag. There's nothing worse than pick after pick breaking, and it even talks about it a little in the book here about, I guess they kind of narrate what your guy's thinking, and he talks about how he's sick and tired of things breaking and there's a better way, but that's not until the Silicon Age. The first tool, though, you're likely to make is actually going to be the soldering iron, which is actually part of the Steel Age. If you build enough batteries, you will get this guy. It is useful because you need it for maintenance. We'll go ahead and cover that first. Soldering iron. There's actually two types in this game. There's the forestry one. I've never really done much with forestry. But then there's the Greg Tech one. It's not too pricey. It does take a battery. You can use the battery of your choice, I believe. It doesn't have to be lithium, does it? Maybe it does. I thought you could get away with a smaller battery, but I guess it does have to be lithium. You need a bolt. You can make out of various materials. This thing doesn't really wear out fast enough to really... Durability on this thing is just not going to be a problem. Make it out of the cheapest thing you can find. Iron, good enough. Yeah, let's use plutonium. Let's waste some perfectly good plutonium to make plutonium soldering iron. Only if you're an idiot, maybe, but... Or maybe you just don't care. But maybe somebody would like to watch the world burn. But anyway, this is all stuff you can make in the early ages. It's the only one that doesn't require stainless steel, which is... I associate more with high voltage age, but it is part of the Silicon Age. One of the first things they tell you how to make is the stainless steel, which you will need lots of chrome, which means you're going to need to find some rubies. Apparently there is some kind of a chrome ore. I have yet to be lucky enough to find it. Maybe it's only in outer space. I'd have to get the ore book to look. But that's another problem. Manganese. I have yet to find a manganese mine, but I actually have found most of my manganese simply by exploring and finding it in chests. Luckily, it's one of those things you tend to find a lot in chests. There is an ore. Another game I did find an ore vein for that, and it's pretty substantial. It will solve your manganese problems, but it is a little bit rare. Kind of like tin. It's one of those things that you're eventually going to need in decent quantities, but it's hard enough to find that you're going to end up scouring the earth to find it. So, anyway, that's 10. So you get to your machines here. Here he talks about how he can't believe how many tools break apart, and it is annoying. And the wonderful thing about the hand tools is you have a machine called the disassembler. I do have one sitting over here, where if the tool gets worn, you can drop it in here, and if you're very lucky, you'll recover. You're only going to lose a minor part. I think the most advanced ones are perfect at doing this, but the early ones, you're going to lose some pieces. But if you keep the drill bit, the great part about keeping the, for example, if I put your drill is going to what you're going to run out of most. If you lose your drill bit, that sucks because you got to go make another one. But if you get the drill bit back, when you reassemble the thing, you're back at full durability. So, you know, if you're lucky, only maybe the stainless steel screw gets lost, which is a piece of stainless steel to mourn is lost, but it's a very small piece of stainless steel to lose. Screws are pretty, you know, you'll end up with a little with like any good workshop in the real world. You'll end up with a good collection of a healthy collection of screws by the time you get through this entire game. But anyway, so these things, they do take. Let's go with the drill. So the drill, again, you can kind of find this stuff in NEI. I'm not going to cover the recipes too much. I'm more interested in talking about the types, you know, what kind of stuff you get out of these, the low voltage versus the medium voltage, the type of tips that are good to use and such. So stainless steel parts, Only a low voltage motor if you're making the low voltage one. And the you of course need a screwdriver. It doesn't have to be electric. There are electric versions of most of the tools. The exception being maybe the hammer, although you can kind of use the forge hammer thing for that. Generally, though, you'll probably still end up keeping a hammer around just for quick and dirty, mashing a couple plates together type of work. But the screwdrivers, or wrenches, you'll definitely want to make the wrench. The durability on the wrench, use steel. It's cheap, and it lasts forever. This will probably last me the rest of the game. I don't think I'll have to disassemble it. The chainsaw is actually great as a weapon. No more carrying a sword and an axe. No more chopping trees by having to keep a sword around for that. If a zombie gets in your way while you're doing your wood cutting, you can just turn that chainsaw on him, and it does decent amounts of damage. It's very good to have, unless you've got a magic sword or something you really like. I just use this as a sword. It's one less thing to carry. In fact, I think this gets more use as a weapon than it does as a tree cutter. But this one you might have to replace from time to time. I would just use steel because you don't have to replace it too often, unless you're doing a lot of wood cutting and a lot of steam making and charcoal making. If you decide you want to torch the planet, put torches everywhere, and never see another monster again, then maybe you're going to need to use that a lot, but probably not. But the drill's one you're going to want durability, but you're also going to want something a little special. A screwdriver, again, same thing. Use something like steel. Steel, it's level 2, who cares? I don't think you need level 3. If you need a level 3 saw someday, you can use chrome or something like that. But the drill, use chrome. I'm sorry, not chrome, cobalt. I'm mixing up my C elements here. Cobalt. Cobalt is a bit of a pain to find. If you're lucky, you'll find some cobalt blocks down below. It tends to be found with nickel. That's why I put it below nickel here. Things that are found together, I tend to put near each other. I don't think iron manganese has much to do with each other, but I just dropped it under there. 10. What's 10 doing down there? There we go. But cobalt you'll find with nickel, or copper. If you get crushed copper ore, and you will be crushing a lot of copper, it is worth putting the copper through the washer and getting your cobalt. Just like it's worth putting your iron through to get tin, because one of those things that's a little bit of a pain to find. But definitely squeeze what cobalt you can out of your copper, because you're going to need it. Maybe later on in certain alloys and in the future, but also very much so for your drill. The reason to use cobalt, it has the same durability as steel, but it's more of a rare resource. But you'll notice my cobalt is level 3, and that means the world, as far as dealing with, let's go get a good little example here. That means the world, as far as dealing with chopping up ores like whatever that one that starts with an I is, that's useful for getting titanium. This stuff, this is ilmenite. Ilmenite is a level 3 ore. You're going to want your level 3 pick for that. So like iridium ores that way as well. Here we go. You're tunneling. You're happily moving along, and then you run into this black granite. You can see on your map that there's a cave nearby that looks interesting to explore, but you're gonna have to tunnel through this, or you're either gonna. In the old days, you probably just tunneled around it. Uh-oh. Some shag nasties up here. Let's get out of here. But you can tunnel. You can knock that granite off pretty easily with this stuff. I don't want to lead these guys back to my base. A creeper? What are you boys doing over there? They're far enough away, they aren't going to be a problem. But yes, that pink granite and the black granite. The bane of your existence when you're mining in the early game. No longer that much of a problem. It will wear your drill down faster. Maybe when you get tungsten or tungsten steel, then it's worth an upgrade to that. But in the early days, use cobalt, and when it wears down, and it will take a long time to wear down, you will do a lot of mining, a lot of digging, a lot of cutting, a lot of base building. You will, eventually have to take it apart. But if you're lucky, when you take it apart, the drill bit will survive the disassembly process, and then you're back at full durability again. Unless they've made some patches since I last played this, you will be at full durability. This is the first one I've built this game. It's carried me through the Silicon Age so far. I've knocked it down to a little less than half of its life, but do not let them run out. If you let them run out, you will regret it, because it will vanish like a fart in the wind, and then you will never see it again, and you will have to build a new one. So definitely, when it gets down to about 2,000 or so, stop using it, go back home, take it apart, put it back together. If you're lucky, you get the drill bit back. If you're not, you're going to sacrifice a little more cobalt to make a new one. I think it only takes like 4 cobalt to do that. Drill bit. Yes, you will lose 4 cobalt making it, and a little bit of steel plate. What a loss. What a crime. But it's not going to be that bad. And don't waste aluminium on this. Look at the durability. It's awful. It's only level 2. Mining speed. Mining speed might be a thing. If mining speed's your thing... the cobalt does good with mining speed too. It's got fast mining speed, level 3. I don't use it for attack. Use your attack with it if you have to, but it's not the best thing to do. I mentioned steel would only get a mining speed of 12, so you're actually doubling your mining speed as well. It's the thing to use here. Until you get something like tungsten steel, which is just going to kick absolute butt. You're going to get like 128 or 256 durability out of that guy. Now, there's a medium version of this. As you know, there is an MV version of this. I've never built the HV version, and I don't think they're actually... Yeah, there's an HV version. I can't imagine what the HV version will do. The lithium battery will actually power it for a long time. You just need to charge it once in a while. You'll definitely want to set up a charger. Oh yeah, let me cover that. Charging. When you start moving, say, to the medium voltage or high voltage and other voltages, you'll definitely want to keep a low voltage charger around. And so if you're doing something like you're running a biogas factory, or you've got just a small basic gas turbine that's running some of your little side factories, like my nitro diesel and my sulfuric acid maker here, just go ahead and clap an empty battery buffer on top. You'll probably have plenty of these, and then you can just throw your stuff in here and start charging it up. No problem. Make sure there's nothing that's connected to this that's going to possibly burn or explode, and then you'll be in good hands. So you'll charge your guy up, and you'll be in good shape. Other than that, there's not much more to say about these. Other than, I will say, the medium voltage. I did make the medium voltage version. You need titanium. You will need titanium. The high voltage one, you're going to have to get to the tungsten steel. You're going to have to get to kind of late game for that. I have made the medium voltage one before. The extra power is nice. But durability, I think the durability is actually a little bit higher as well, because I think you use more material. Yeah, see, this is using aluminium, but you'll notice the durability is higher than it was with the other drill. So let's see if I can find cobalt here. Osmium. Well, yeah, let's not waste that, eh? Osmium is it's not even something I can obtain easily yet. I guess I could if I wanted to, but I'm not going to waste it. Come on, where are you? There's a lot of other metals. You've got those fun other kind of steels you can make. High-speed steel. Level 5. Now, eventually you will need higher level stuff, even when you get to, I guess, space and asteroids. I've never been there. I'm kind of excited. Ah, there we go. I think I found it. You look like cobalt. You are cobalt. Yes, you get extra durability on your cobalt then. I think it probably uses up twice as fast too, but the mining speed. Look at the mining speed. It's double what it was before. And it's level 4. So you're actually going to do even better with the medium voltage drill, because it's a level 4 with your cobalt. Cobalt's not that expensive, to be honest. You don't really use that much of it. In fact, you use the same amounts on the medium voltage drill as you do on the others. How fun is that? But the mining speed of that is absolutely ridiculous. Mining with that thing, you literally go like this, and then the whole hillside just disintegrates. It's just crazy. Unfortunately, it can be a bit of a pain. Like if you're working on your base, you will rip through stuff that you did not mean to drill through. Like you just want to, like I just want to angle down here. I want to knock this guy out. Well, you'll knock this guy out and probably the 2 or 3 behind it because it is just way too fast. Probably want to make that thing for when you go off asteroid mining, and you just need the better power for cheap materials. You know, you'll do that eventually. But the medium voltage ones, they're not worth struggling for early in the game. The low voltage ones will do fine. Eventually you'll make a medium voltage one, but for mining purposes, it's extremely fast, but it's actually maybe a little too fast. Again, if you're mining ore, you're taking the ore, but you're also going to take out blocks behind you too, or behind it, and you're going to end up carrying tons and tons of stone you're going to have to go throw away, and it just makes a lot of mess, and it unnecessarily wears your drill as it does that as well. So you're not only knocking off a piece of ore, but you're also knocking out several blocks behind it, thus incurring extra wear on your drill. So they actually, in a way, where maybe that's why they give you extra durability as they wear out a little faster. So that's the tools. About the only last thing to say is the buzzsaw. The buzzsaw is meant for cutting wood. Do not try to use your chainsaw as a buzzsaw. If you do, you will destroy it. I made that mistake in my last game. I tried to cut some wood with the chainsaw instead of the buzzsaw, and it was like 50 times the durability or something. It just completely erased the thing. It just vanished from my thing. It was gone. Maybe it's meant to explode or something or puff away, but it was not fun. I was not a happy man. So that's about all I got to say about power tools. There's some other ones out there, but again, you can look them up, play with them. But mainly, I just wanted to give you some tips. And cobalt, that's the way to go with the drill. Anything else, probably you're better off to just stick with steel because it's cheap, but it's fairly durable and it'll probably last you the game. All right, that's all I got. Thank you for watching.